Hello and welcome to our show, Midwest Weekly Power Rankings and Stats, starring myself, Herwick, and my friend CLT. First off, we're going to start off with the power rankings today. So we're going to get started here with Herwick's Baba Yaga hit list. Are we ready, CLT?
Yep.
Awesome. All right, so leading off on the power rankings at our number 18 spot. Show us who it is, CLT. Ice Wall. Ice Wall, they had dropped 2 spots from week 1. Unfortunately, the games that they had in their second week of play against Backdoor Bandits just didn't show up on paper compared to their first week, and I think they played a little worse here in week 2. But again, it doesn't mean they can't move on up. But as of right now, they have dropped down 2 spots. And I think of all the 0-2 teams, they are on the bottom of those. Let's go ahead and move into the second team here, CLT. And that's going to be Caster Curse. They dropped 1 spot, going from 16 to the 17th spot. And the reason Caster Curse is staying here on the bottom, they are 0-2, and they did lose to Freebrax, who was our 18th ranked team last week. And so that loss looks a little worse than it probably should, unfortunately, though, for them. Now, of course, as I stated, and I talked about this during the Midwest Weekly, Caster Curse didn't have a bad series against Freebrax, but it just wasn't enough to really give them the edge over who the next team is at our number 16 spot, which is T1 Tempest. And here's my reason why these two teams have a slightly difference in these spots. It's just a simple fact that T1 Tempest lost to Team Ghost, a team that is highly ranked in week 1 and would have been if I did this prior to the split. Meanwhile, Caster Curse lost to a top ranked team in Coin Flip, was to a team I wouldn't have considered a top-ranked team at the time. They are both 0-2'd by these teams. As far as who they played then their next matchups, T1 Tempest did lose to Dyslexic Defenders, who is a bottom-ranked team, 0-2. But, again, it was Ghost that they lost to the first time. A very, very good team, if not one of the best teams in the league. While Caster Curse, they lost to Freebrax, which was just a truly bottom-ranked team last week. So, therefore, unfortunately, Caster Curse will not edge out T1 Tempest here. All right, go ahead and show me who our number... I forgot my numbers. 15 team is. My brain was lagging. It's okay. We have Insane Banana Posse, though. And Insane Banana Posse, they played a very, very, very good series against Tom Kench Gamers. They pushed the number 1 team of last week to the brink, nearly beat them, but they just came up a little short. And due to the fact of being now 0-2, unfortunately, they will drop 3 spots and land themselves here. But I do think they are a team of the 0-2 teams to truly watch out for right now. I think they can still make some noise. All right, CLT, show me my number 14. That's going to be Freebrax. One of the biggest moving up here, going 4 spots from 18 to 14. They showed us that they aren't as bad as we all thought they were. They might have a little more fight in them. Look a lot more coordinated. Their jungler looked a lot better. I liked what I saw from them against Caster Curse. Hopefully they can continue to bring that each week. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one, CLT. Who is our number 13? That's going to be Dyslexic Defenders. Dyslexic Defenders, they're going to move up 1 spot. Now, even though I was impressed with Freebrax still had a really, really bad week 1. And Dyslexic Defenders, their win over T1 Tempest looked very good. And their loss the previous week, which was against a pretty good team, is the reason why they're just slightly above Dyslexic Defenders. And if you're wondering who they lost to in week 1 and do not remember, that was Tom Kench Benchers, one of the best teams in the league. All right, go ahead and bring me on number 12. That's going to be Cal Poly Division 2. They're going to drop one spot. They had a tough loss here to Team Ghost in pretty decently decisive fashion, but again, Team Ghost being one of the higher ranked teams, anytime you lose to Team Ghost, the loss is kind of forgiven a bit, and you'll get another opportunity to show what you're made of. And I still think Cal Poly Division 2 is a very good team and a team to watch out for here at 1-1. Still one of the better teams we have at that 1-1 spot right now, but they will drop a spot. Go ahead and show me the next team, CLT, who is our number 11, and that is going to be Scorch, taking one of the biggest drops here in the league. And I love you guys, but I have to just be honest here with the situation. You guys were 2-0 against a team I'm very impressed with. So the loss is still a good loss. But I'm going to explain again to reiterate why the next two teams are above you. So why don't you go ahead and show me the next two teams, CLT. Go ahead and show me the next team as well, sir. Thank you. All right, so we got peanut butter jelly and sad jellyfish, and here's why I'm going to break it down for you and why these two teams are slightly above Scorch right now. It's the simple fact that, one, peanut butter jelly put out an unbelievable performance against sad jellyfish, one of the best we have seen against them, and just came up short. But they had a chance to 2-0 them, and a team we still respect, and we haven't lost all the respect for sad jellyfish just quite yet. Though they lost and fell down one spot, there's a reasoning for all that, and we're going to kind of get into that. But because they beat peanut butter jelly, that's why they're above peanut butter and jelly. And because sad jellyfish historically has been good in the Scorch, that's why Scorch is sitting at the number 11 and just outside of the number 10 spot. But yeah, so that's sad jellyfish at 9 and peanut butter and jelly at 10. Go ahead and show me the next team. And that's going to be small brain, no mechanics. They truly had small brains this week, but that is okay. They played a good series, but it just wasn't good enough against a looks like to be an up-and-coming team, a team that we did see lose to one of the top teams in the league in Backdoor Bandits. And for that reason, small brain will drop 4 spots, but I don't think they're completely out of it when it comes to being a good team. They did beat Sad Jellyfish, but this is going to be a test this week. If they're going to be playing peanut butter and jelly, can they rise above? We'll find out, and that could move them up or move them down. All will depend. If peanut butter and jelly wins, that could move them up high in the power rankings as well. It's going to be very interesting to see, but they will drop 4 spots from the number 4 all the way to the number 8. Again, I should also reiterate once more time that Sad Jellyfish and small brain mechanics historically have been good in the Scorch. So I am curious to see what they would look like when they play each other in the future, as I think Scorch has upgraded a bit. But until they play, I'm going to keep them slightly above if they have even records. All right, go ahead and show me the next team, CLT. All right, that's going to be Load the Cannons. I just talked about them. They beat Small Brain, No Mechanics. They've lost to 3 against the Backdoor Bandits, one of the undefeated teams in our league right now. That is why they're at number 7. It was an impressive victory, and it brought them up 3 spots, where Rika was an absolute god in the series and played extremely well. But overall, the team performed when it mattered, and including that with a sub on the team, as there was no Frozen, makes them win a little more impressive as well. I'm going to be looking forward to Loaded Cannons at full strength because I don't think they have yet been able to do that. So let's see what they look like when they get all 5 members. What is our next team, CLT? It is Instinct CK. The most impressive victory of the week, in my opinion, against a top-tier team. They were able to take down the Tom Kench Benchers. Now, this is an interesting situation, as normally I would put the team that beat the other team above them, but there's reasons why I have not. But Instinct CK has an opportunity to keep rising in these power rankings for sure, as they looked really, really good on their way to victory over the Benchers in what was a absolutely insane series and a 2-1 win for them. But they moved up 7 spots, a big jump all the way to 6. All right, let's get into our top 5 now. Tom Kench Benchers. This is going to be very interesting because I might get a lot of hate for this one. as Instinct beat them. And normally, I'm going to put the team that beat you above you, but I'm going to give Benchers the benefit of the doubt as they did go 3 games with Instinct CK. But another loss by Benchers will certainly drop them out of the top 5. They have 3 returning members of the winning team from last split. So I still think they're just ramping up right now. I'm going to give them, again, that benefit of the doubt. And just give them a slight edge regardless of the victory. But that will drop them 3 spots. Go ahead and show me our number 4. That's going to be Coin Flip. Now, Coin Flip, they're one of the surprises here. They're 2-0, and they're one of 4 teams that are still undefeated in the league. They impressed me a lot with their victory this week, as they were able to defeat Scorch on Sunday, and what I thought was very, very good games by them. Clean across the board, took care of business, showed up and showed out. Now their first win, it's not as good, but it still was a win nonetheless against Caster Curse. But just because they are 2-0, I'm going to reward them with this spot, setting them at a solid number 4 on the power rankings, moving up 5 spots, which is our second highest jump. Go ahead and show it. Number 3. Number 3 is going to be Backdoor Bandits. They are also undefeated. They moved up 3 spots from 6 last week. They came out and they were decisive. They dominated. They executed. And they made sure Ice Wall didn't have an opportunity to be in those games. Victories like that will earn you the right to move up. And that is why they're my number 3 team right now. But unfortunately for them, there's just 2 teams that I think are better. Go ahead and just reveal those 2 teams for me, CLT. That's going to be Ghost at number 2 and Tom Kench Gamers at the number 1 spot once again. The only team to not move is the Gamers. Team Ghost, though, continuing to dominate. They are currently 4-0 in total games played. They have not yet to drop a game at all. There are a few teams like them, obviously, but they're the one. Is there actually? I think CoinFlip's 4-0 too, right? Doesn't matter though. The point is this team is dominating and they're winning games in ways that would impress anybody watching them. Havoc is putting on an absolute show. He is the boss. He will take care of business. He is the man in the top lane. Geico is stable in the bot lane. Maybe not performing as well as I would have hoped in these last couple of weeks, but he's still playing really, really well. As far as the rest of the team, we did get to see them at full capacity this time with the returning mage in the mid lane, and he looked as dominant as ever. This team is poised to make a run. That is why they're sitting at the number 2. And again, back on TK Gamers, they're number 1. They're number 1 because of that slaughter week 1 against Freebrax. And they're going to sit here. That Freebrax win now looks even better as Freebrax has moved up. But their win over Insane Banana Posse, though it was close, it showed their ability to fight back into a team that really threw a lot of different punches. Very interesting drafts, and yet they were still able to come out on top in pretty decisive fashion. I'm impressed with Gamers' versatility and continuing to win. Bori is the MVP of the finals last split and continues to show that. Why he might be the best player on a team right now. And that is going to be my power rankings. If you don't like them, that's cool. Tell me about it in the chat. Let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Talk about it in the comments. CLT, how do you feel about my list this week?
I think the list is pretty respectable. As with any early season list, you could argue, especially between the 1-1 teams, which direction they could go. But I think this week 3, there's going to be a lot of really, really big matchups that will shake up this list quite a bit and start to really, really settle down. There's just there's still some sample size that you could argue with it, but as we play more games, I mean, it's only going to make more and more sense.
Yeah, and I know people are going to have a problem with Benchers Instinct CK. I can already hear it now, especially if you're Instinct CK. You're like, wait a second, come on, we beat these guys. Listen, Don, I know you're going to watch. I know you're going to feel this. Not that I'm not impressed with the win, but I just think Benchers played as well as you guys. It was just a very close series. So I would like, if you guys played again, I think it'd be more decisive to know who truly is the better team right now. But Benchers, given their history, given the fact that they have won before with three of those members, I'm just going to give them the edge for now. But week three will be decisive and to let me know who truly is the better team against your next opponents here. Other than that, I don't feel like there's a lot of arguments with this list. I mean, I guess I could see a few here and there in the one-on-one teams. I know Scorch will probably have an issue with dropping as far as they did, but I'm just looking at the history. You can make an argument low the Cannons maybe shouldn't be as high, but again, I'm impressed with them. Their loss was a really, really good loss, and their win is just really, really good. It was a good 2-0 against a team that was in the top 5 rankings last week. So it'll be interesting to see, but these rankings, especially early on, are going to change more than they are probably like week 4, week 5. We'll see a lot less changes. So this next week will be probably the last time I expect to see as many big changes because we're really going to get to find out who these teams truly are. As the first 2 weeks, you're feeling it out. You're kind of seeing how you feel about your gameplay and the league itself. And so everyone's going to be settling down and now truly starting to settle in. And so I'm really looking forward to week 3 to give me the answers that I'm looking for on a few of these rankings. So I do want to say before we go on to the next segment, if you're watching this, please tell me, do you like me making it shorter and really just flying through, or do you like a more in-depth breakdown like there was week 1? I feel like it's quicker, it's better for me in CLT, only because at the end of the day, do we really need a 45-minute video? We're making 2.5 minute video, 2.5 hour minute videos, you know? Uh, that's all. And so I wanna consider that. Um, So yeah, CLT. With that being said, why don't we go ahead and get into what is probably your favorite segment of the week? If you know, you know. CLT, land of misfit stats. Well, it's island. I'm sorry, I forgot the I part of that. But yes, go ahead, CLT. Why don't you take it away? And you know what? This week, I feel confident in showing this to you guys. Um, hold on. Here you go. Here's all these fun stats. We're still trying to get them over on spots so you guys can have them, but at least I'll show them off this week. And I'll note what CLT is talking about. So, CLT, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah. So, again, big shout out to uh, Hairwiz and Havoc for coming up with these stats and formulas. I
You
think they're
forgot one name that's very important who helped us.
what's that?
Our friend Honcho, aka Tenzin, aka the man, the myth, the legend himself, Drop Ward. He did
Oh,
he did help us with this too. He was offended that you didn't mention him last week.
oh, my apologies. Well, thank you, Dropboard, for this extensive list.
Yes.
So,
He helped out with the formulas. He put a lot of work into, so we want to make sure that he gets his credit where it's due. I know that it's hard for uh, us to always remember these things, CLT, but want to make sure that's out there.
no, no, thank you. Thanks for that one. Kind of gonna go through it roll by roll what I did last week. It seems to be pretty quick and simple there. So looking at the top lane, there's still two that really stand out. Camille 5-0, banned 12 times, so 100% win rate on that champion. We seen her played into Mbessa. Looks like a really solid counter pick to at least outscale Mbessa and being able to trade with her. And yeah, I think Camille was still going to be banned quite a bit, 12 bans overall. But if these top laners start playing her more and more, I expect her to see more bans, more wins, more everything. So, the other one, while kind of a mix between jungle and top, I expect to see him way more in the jungle as some of these junglers start to pick it up, is Mundo. Mundo's 4-0, and just that champion goes wherever he pleases. It It's insane how tanky and how snowball he gets. I think some of the good teams will find ways of punishing him in the top lane, but I think in the jungle he can bypass the weaker laning phase and scale up and be that alternative option to say like Skarner in the jungle. So one we've seen played quite a bit this week, Renekton ends up still having a really solid 75% win rate. 3 wins, 1 loss, couple of, soaking up a couple of bans. I look for that to increase quite a bit. All these top laners that are letting Mbessa through see Renekton as an answer. And yeah, it's really good. Havoc had a really good pop-off game to note this week on the Croc, so should be interesting to see how that goes. So in the jungle side of things, we see Nocturne is becoming more and more popular. So just 3 and 0 so far, 100% win rate, but can do a little bit of everything. With Vi's win rate decreasing this week, I think Nocturne just becomes the better option of getting access to the back line, being able to start wombo combos, and ultimately making teams really trust in their communication when they can't see each other. So Nocturne, I know Hare plays it quite a bit, and there's a few other junglers that don't mind pulling this champion out. Then for the jungle, I don't. That's really the only one that stood out. For the most part, Karthus jungle was 0-1. It's kind of a fringe pick. Evelyn's got 1 win.
Yeah, I think the other ones that were really going to stand out are just more they have a high presence rate, but it's still a pretty good win rate. Maybe you want to show that, which would be probably Skarner at this point.
Yep. Yeah,
Um,
Skarner's sitting
yeah,
at a 54% win rate right now, so pretty even. It's not dominating games, but he's not like you pick and you lose. So, uh, well, now that we've actually sorted it this way, by their 28% win rate just absolutely tanked this week. I don't think she won a single game. Yeah, I don't reckon she did.
I think she won.
So,
I feel like she won one, if I recall correctly, because I think she was coming into this week with like a 1-3 record, maybe. But yeah, she's definitely. We're just finding out, like we talked about on the show. I don't mean to kind of interject, but it's just that
you're
she's
good.
really good when you're picking her later on in the draft, when you can see kind of what their comp is coming up with.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's more of a good response. I think the teams that have lost with her have just kind of blind picked her, hoping that she's going to be able to dive in and do damage, and then the smarter teams just draft really well against her. So, but for the mid lane, there's one that really stands out this week. No shocker to anybody who's played him. See the changes. Victor, absolute monster in the mid lane right now. 7-1 in the league, 87.5% win rate. I yeah is the highest win rate mid in the league, next to no, even higher win rate than Aurora. So yeah, highest win rate in the league. He just kind of does it all. He scales, as we've talked to Smalls, who plays mid lane. He Victor just scales super well. They made him easier to get his stacks, and the ult expanding when he gets a kill just absolutely runs over team fights. So, but we do see a touch of resurgence in Syndra. I think Syndra might be one of the few answers in lane to Victor. She can definitely punish him and provide some kill threat as she scales up. And Syndra also is really good into like non-tank bruiser comps because she still just does an obscene amount of damage. So, the only other notable, again, I kind of pointed out last week, Hui. Hui is just the jack of all trades, master of nothing. You can play him in a bunch of different spots, and even if he's behind, he can just wave clear to infinity. So look for Victor to continue to either rise in popularity and win rate, or people are just going to start banning it, and you should see more stuff like Hui coming out.
Yeah.
So then talking about the bot lane here. See, Caitlyn got a few plays this week, sitting at 4-4, 50% win rate. I don't know if I'm 100% sold on Caitlyn. I'm not. I think she relies too much on attack speed early, just to being able to kite, and the collector build just doesn't give her enough access to it early. I just don't think she overall hits hard enough, but yet she doesn't provide enough utility like Ashe as well. So yeah, you see Caitlyn going 4-4. Ashe is now 3-3, both 50% win rate. So I would look for Caitlyn to be a little more of a fringe pick. But then the big one coming out, I seen it twice in one series and several times in another. Was Jinx. Jinx, 63% win rate, absolute monster, especially those front to back team comps where you can get a pick and just start her off on the passive. She just goes absolutely nuts. So all in all, I think Jinx would be the one to watch, if not Ashe. Uh, oh yeah. Okay, thanks for pointing that out. Yeah. This one if I didn't point it out, I know you were gonna have something to say about this. Sivir's 5-2 now. I actually didn't know she was picked that much. Wow. 71% win rate. So Sivir's looking really, really good. I think her access to backline through the ricochet makes her able to at least get some meaningful damage out to where sometimes Jinx can be stuck on a single target too long until she gets like rune-ins and can start popping off.
I think
So
a good way to explain the Sivir here is Sivir is just Ashe with more like higher carry potential in terms of the damage in the late game. They're both utility 80 carries, and they both provide a lot of good utility. But Sivir can actually deal out a lot of DPS, more similar to that of like a Jinx or a Kog'Maw, in the sense that she can hit multiple targets. But her issue has always been her range, right? That's where she hurts the most. That's why the Jinxes and the Kog'Maws are generally better into Sivir. But I think that's your biggest reason why you're seeing the success is that utility. The other thing is I think she's just strong right now. The items are good for Sivir right now.
yeah, yeah, I agree overall. And then for the support, I didn't really like see nothing really stood out. We had a lot of Nautilus, we had a lot of Leona played. We still see a Mumu every now and then flexing down there. Uh, Tom Kinch was probably the big standout, I think, this week at support. I know the stats are kind of skewed a touch because top lanes have played it, but we had a series with back-to-back Tom Kinch supports and what I thought was a really good window. So I'm kind of curious what some teams' take on that is. I think if you start to see more single target damage champions, a la like a Syndra or even like a Nocturne comp, if Tom Kinch can play close enough to the 80 carry, he can just end up saving them
Yeah.
overall.
I think one to note too. It's you can't initially see it on the screen, but it's that Milio pick too. Undefeated right now for this champion, 100% win rate on four picks. So Milio I think is up there CLT if you for the supports.
Yeah, I think uh I think Milio is a little, I don't want to say more fringe, but I think it definitely depends on the 80 carry a little bit more. The champion's not as self-sufficient as like Tom Kinch. Tom Kinch has a better roam and more damage can create a little more space. But Milio into I think she was a really good pick in the stuff like Vi, stuff like Nocturne, where they don't have the innate burst, but they can still get on the back line.
Yes,
I think Milio provides a lot of that, a lot of the utility that's needed when you're playing against those comps.
yes, I would definitely agree. Um, yeah, that's a good breakdown of what's going on as far as the roles. Uh, some other interesting stuff we should kind of take note. I always like to open this up, but well, we're already under presents, aren't we? So if we go under presents right here just to make sure. Yep. Mbessa, still kind of ridiculous. What's that? 87% presence rate right now, dude. and she doesn't even have a great win rate. She's 44%. So maybe people will start pulling away from her, and she'll stop getting so many bans. I'm kind of curious if that's going to happen, CLT. I don't know what you think, but that's my question right there on that one.
I think it just depends on the top laners, like what top laner you have on your team. If they feel like they have a really solid pick into Mbessa, I know as people learn how to play her, it kind of can still have the adverse effect of like once you play against it so much, you know what to do against it.
Yeah. And this is on 41 games for anyone that's wondering. This right here, this shows you right here. Total games played, 41 for the split. So out of 41 games, she's been seen 36 times, whether she was picked or banned. Obviously, majority banned at 65%. So she's definitely up there. Obviously, you can see Skarner and Kate are making a high presence rate as well. Skarner, I'm not surprised by. A lot of people, I think, he's not like as new as Mbessa by no means, like this rework Skarner, but he's still newer, and he provides a lot as far as utility goes, damage goes. Like he's up there, so I see why people are banning him out. But like his win rate isn't exceptional, even with 11 picks. I don't think it's crazy good at the moment, especially because it's only one game off from a 50%. It's still good though. I think it's still pretty good. So you'll still probably see him. I think Mbessa should start to fall off soon when it comes to ban rate, which we'll see less of her. I feel like Skarner is going to stick around though, and he'll probably become. By the time the split is over, I'm going to predict Skarner is our highest present rate champion. I think. Uh, I don't know how you feel about that, but that's where we kind of lead. The only other thing that's crazy to me when it comes to present rate right now is just the Camille, because Camille's got a 41% presence rate with what's that? 100% win rate, right? Like
Yeah.
it's kind of insane. Like she's every time she's picked, she just wins, and so I wouldn't be surprised if she starts getting banned more.
Yeah, I think with certain junglers like Poppy, not necessarily being the most meta, Camille's allowed to flourish a little bit more.
Yeah, 100%. And the fact that no one's picking Poppy top into it, um, even when Camille sometimes picked as like a B5, it's very interesting to me. Um, Anything else that we can think of? I mean, obviously, guys, like I said, we want to get this out there for you guys. I always like to. We can look at ban rate too. We obviously already know Bessa and Skarner up there, but like, is there anyone that like surprised you or like this one actually does? The Silas, 24% ban rate, but yet the two times he's been picked, he's lost. So interesting.
Well, there is still quite a few mids from last split that's transferred over. Like Rurika comes to mind of like they're just absolute monsters on that champion. So I can tell you right now, I would not want to see Silas with Rurika's name tag over top of it.
Yeah, I know. I know Zemma plays it really well as well. There are definitely some guys, and maybe that's why it's getting so much bans. Like these types of dudes are they're pulling the ban, and they're not seeing to get to play it, but the players that are getting to play it maybe aren't as proficient on the champion. Um, but yeah, that's kind of interesting to me. Um, Other than that, like nothing else really sticks out. I guess Darius, he's got Darius and Pantheon both got 7 bans right now, so they're pretty decent, 17% ban rate. No one's picked them yet.
My top laner's yelling at the screen because I think he's 5 of those 7 bans.
Yep, yep. And then Yorick too. I think that's just literally CC Star, by the way. I think all 6 of those bans might be him. I'm not for sure, but if it is, like that's kind of hilarious.
Well, that's the one punch Zach from last split.
Yeah, yeah, honestly. But yeah, there's some stuff like that where there's some interesting things, and that's why I'm showing you guys here to kind of see. If you're wondering how this color code works, and the reason why I don't have it over here somewhere, it's just when I switch it, it'll move around anyways. But basically, so for green is going to be your 75% to 100% win rate, and then orange will be your 50% to anything below 75%, and then your yellow is 25% to anything below 50%, and then obviously red is everything below 25%. Uh, so that's how it's noted. So whenever I do actually get to release this document to the world, um, and update it as we go, uh, you guys will be able to see that. So other than that, though, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, CLT, was there anything else you want to talk about? I guess we could mention blue side, red side, but nothing's really changed there. I feel like.
Yeah, no, the discrepancy is not big enough that it's like one side dominates all. But I think that'd be a stat to go in potentially like team by team, see which team prefers red side, which team prefers blue side.
Yeah, one of these days we could definitely do that. I think right now we're limited on the resources. If you guys want us to
Yeah.
get more in depth on the stats, let us know. We'll see what we can come up with. We're just limited on the resources on what we can do right now. I'd love to dive into like how I mentioned like the York. Is that just CC star? Like I'd love to know that. Like if it is for sure, I'd love to note it however I could. Um, but yeah, I mean these are definitely interesting stats that kind of reveal a lot about our meta for our league, and then you can compare that to like what's going on in solo queue, what's going on in flex queue, if there's any pro play going on right now, kind of see what's up with that, and it kind of shows you like are we completely off the meta when compared to those, or are we actually similar? Uh, and I do feel like some of the stuff we have a good understanding of where the game's at right now, and I think the players are pretty good with that. But then there are situations where it's just pocket bends, right? Or it's just pocket picks. So, like if you go, I guess we can look at this real quick. CLT, we'll take a peek at this, but we'll look at presence rate the other way, real fast. You're gonna see a lot of 2.44%, right, and a lot of 4.8%. That means it's probably once or twice, either picked or banned, and you're gonna see a lot of different champions. Like Zyra's up there, banned one time. I don't know who that was against. Somebody plays Zyra in the league and they didn't want to see it, right? Um, a lot of these champions, Cassidy was picked because it was a good situation for Cassidy, right? Um, Heimerdinger must have been a Heimerdinger player, but that's kind of where that comes from. And once you get over into around the 9% presence rate, is when you start talking about probably champions you're going to see consistently, even as the split progresses. May not see it as much, but you're still going to see them, whether they're picked or banned. So that's probably the most interesting stuff. Timo, by the way, been banned twice. I don't know why, but there he is. We're scared of Timo. So,
Yep.
but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, guys. Was there anything else you wanted to cover, CLT?
No, no, I appreciate you having me on for this.
Of course, this is your segment, man. I just like to, as I ask you to talk with mine, I'm gonna talk
Hmm.
with yours too. We get some good conversation going. But yeah, we're
Of
trying to
course.
keep these short. So this one's 37 minutes, looking better than last week. We're at 45. So yeah, let us know. Do you want us to go more in depth into stats? Do you want us to go more in depth into the power rankings? All right. So you kind of seen from both ends. I think for me, I'd prefer the stats because we already talk about the games themselves during Midwest Weekly. So give us some feedback and let us know what you guys are thinking. CLT, was there anything you wanted to say or before we head out here?
Um, don't pick Smolder. He's 0-7. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, I did want to mention that too when I was looking at this and putting this together recently. I was like, why is this champion still picked? But now that you know this, maybe you guys will stop picking it. I don't know.
I'm still picking it in the Galio, sorry.
Okay, there it is. He's still picking the guy.
I know I'm one of those 0-7, so
Someone, you know how we track Smolder stacks? Give me a Smolder win rate tracker during the games when he's picked. Get a tracker. Oh, Smolder lost again. So
oh god.
first, see when he first gets his first win. We're gonna throw a kumbaya party for that.
Well, hopefully it's in my game. And
All
it's on
right,
my team.
guys. Well, me and CLT are gonna call it a night. We did record this on Monday, so you're gonna be watching this on Tuesday. Hopefully you guys checked out the Midwest Weekly as that was dropped on Monday. But yeah, you guys have a wonderful night as always. Thank you for coming out, watching the cast, watching the shows. We really appreciate it. But we're looking forward to having 7 days off of anything content related besides maybe some casts. So you all enjoy your night, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.